Hi, welcome in Restra's Khwarizmi Mathematical Forum. Today we are going to discuss about thought process of Lagrange, Cauchy and Silo. Okay, since we know about the Lagrange theorem, we know that Lagrange theorem my whole topic, I always assume G is finite group. G is finite group is always assumed. Okay, whenever infinite group is used, there will be informed about that. Okay, but without informing, always assume that G is finite group. Okay, and since we know about the Lagrange theorem, okay, Lagrange theorem, if order of G equal n and H is some subgroup of G, okay, H is a subgroup of G such that order of H is some m, okay, implies that this m divides n. This is a Lagrange theorem. Okay, this is the statement of Lagrange theorem, and Lagrange theorem has a major importance in group theory, particularly in the finite group theory. Okay, so uh, contrapositive contrapositive of Lagrange theorem. If if order of G equal n and order of H equal m and m divides n, this is what contrapositive Lagrange theorem. If m does not divide n, implies that H cannot be subgroup of G. Okay, statement of the theorem says that if G is some finite group of order n and H is subgroup of G of order m, implies that order of the subgroup divides the order of the group. Okay, but the contrapositive of this theorem says that if m does not divide n, implies that H cannot be the subgroup of G. Okay, one can this use wherever one may apply it. This is always true. If some integer doesn't divide the order of the group, that group cannot have a subgroup of that order. Okay, suppose if alpha doesn't divide the order of the group, where n is order of the group, implies that G cannot have subgroup of order alpha. Okay, of order alpha. Okay, so what will we do if alpha divides n? Okay, if alpha divides n, how do we approach? That is my question. Okay, if alpha equal n, what should we do and how do we approach? If my alpha divides n, if not divide n, this is answered, but if divide n, how do we study this? Okay, answer of this question is given by Cauchy, which is given by Cauchy, the statement given by Cauchy, whom the world now calls Cauchy theorem. Okay, this theorem has a great importance in group theory, and since we know that the converse of the Lagrange theorem does not hold. Why the converse of the Lagrange theorem does not hold? If m divides n, if m divides n, we cannot say that there exists a subgroup of order m. We cannot claim. Okay, because now you can take an example by alternating group of degree 4, okay, whose order is 12 and 6 divide the 12s, but a alternating group of degree 4 does not have a subgroup of order 6, so the converse of Lagrange theorem is fail, is not hold in general. Okay, so converse is false. Now if but the Cauchy has thought about it. How do the converse of the Lagrange theorem is true? Cauchy has studied that if G is abelian group, then converse true. If G is abelian group, if G is abelian group implies that converse of Lagrange theorem holds. If G is a non-abelian group, non-abelian finite, always assume group is a finite group, as I already informed you initially, that always assume that G is a finite group. Okay, G is abelian. If G is non-abelian, what should we do? If some number divides the order of the group and group is non-abelian, what should we do in that case? Answer of this question is given by Cauchy. Okay, and the statement which given in order to answer of this question, whom we call Cauchy theorem, and which says that if any prime divides the order of the group, implies that group has element of order p. Okay, but Cauchy has works only for primes. Okay, Cauchy doesn't work for integer. Cauchy works only for primes, means if alpha is some prime number, then the answer is given from the Cauchy theorem. But if alpha is not prime, what should we do? How do we approach? And who will think about those cases where alpha is non-prime? If alpha is non-prime and if alpha is non-prime and G is non-abelian, G is non-abelian finite group, answer of this question is given by Silo. Okay, answer of this question is given by Silo. Silo has take since we know that each positive integer can be expressed as a product of primes, which is called canonical form. Okay, canonical form, it's the number theory concept. Canonical form, any positive integer can be expressed as the product of primes. Okay, so Silo used this idea, simply used this idea and injected that alpha equal some p1 p2 m to power 2 pn m to power n. Okay, since we know that whichever positive integer one may choose, that must be factorized in the prime factors. Okay, after a finite number of steps, each positive integer can be factorized in the prime factors. So Silo used that. Okay, Silo says that, as you know that Silo theorem says that if p to power m divides G, implies G has subgroup of order p to power m, and Silo used this. If alpha equal p to power m form, then this question is answered by Silo. Okay, this all goes to the Silo, who completed this concept in the finite group theory.